¿Qué tal amigos y amigas? Bienvenidos de vuelta a otro Haz Sinapsis. Estamos ahora en transmisión aquí con unos amigos desde África que van a estar compartiendo unos temas bien chidos, bien padres sobre ciencia. Y pues vamos a tratar de hacer también esta parte en inglés porque la mayoría de audiencia también que nos van a estar escuchando pues va a ser en inglés. Entonces, welcome everyone to this another transmission, another broadcast from the Red Synapsis. And today is going to join us a friend from Zambia, Africa, who's a science communicator, and he's going to talk about the project that he's taking to schools over there. Así que vamos a darle la bienvenida también a nuestro amigo Francis Mulenga, quien es un divulgador de ciencia de Zambia, África, quien también es un activista del clima o el cambio climático y también es diseñador de proyectos. Y pues Francis empezó su carrera dentro de la divulgación científica desde el 2008 y pues también fue galardonado con el premio de la Juventud en Ciencia e Ingeniería en Zambia en una competencia nacional y se ha dedicado a llevar la ciencia a varias escuelas y ahora sí que con estas limitantes que pues, el nuevo país tiene, él ha logrado poder llevar a cabo estas actividades allá utilizando recursos como son los desechos, la basura, que pues ahora se puede transformar en un recurso para poder explicar ciencia. Entonces, vamos a darle ahorita la bienvenida. Y pues, let's give a welcome to our friend Francis Mulenga, who is a science communicator and innovator climate project activist. And he's from Africa, Zambia, Africa, and he's going to be joining us to demonstrate some science experiments. How are you, Francis?
I'm okay. How are you? Welcome everybody to the presentation.
Okay, well, the mics are all yours. You're free to start your talk wherever you want.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, as we earlier said, I do science demonstrations. I'm a science communicator. Now, my demonstrations aim at making learning of science easier, more fun, and engaging in a classroom situation, even in communities. So now, I'm going to be demonstrating on science in general, on different topics in chemistry, physics, and maybe even part of biology. Now, allow me to start my presentation. Each time I do a demonstration, I'm going to tell you the topic and field of science where it's coming from. So I've prepared much about pressure, and this time allow me to start with my first demonstration on pressure. Are you following? Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear
Okay,
you right.
so I've got this. What I'm going to, I've got a bottle of water. So I'm going to demonstrate about pressure. I also have a nail. So this is a simple demonstration that maybe a teacher can use to illustrate about pressure in a classroom to make their learning more fun. So I'm going to make some walls. Watch this. I'm going to make four walls, then we see what happens. I'll make one there. Okay. I'm going to make another there. I'll make another one here, and I'll make my last to make it four. So my last wall will be made here. Okay, then I'll do that. I hold from the bottom, I hold from the lid, then we see what is happening. I've made four big walls using a nail, and then the water has actually stopped moving. Now, this is a demonstration about pressure, and I'm going to explain what's going on here. When I hold from the lid, I made four walls, then held from the top, the water stopped coming out. This is a demonstration about pressure that a teacher can use in a classroom. So I'll change my position and hold from there to show that I'll place to show that they were actually walls. But because of the position from which I was holding, when I hold from here, I'm releasing the bottle and the pressure is not being exerted on the bottle. While when I hold from somewhere there in the middle, I'm exerting pressure on the bottle, making the water come out. Now, this is a demonstration that may look simple, and yes, it is simple, but it makes the science to be real and that to be seen. It's on such small principles that we build bigger things in science, bigger innovations and inventions begin from understanding such knowledge. For someone to become an engineer, they need to understand such more concepts and they build on that to interpret their science. So that is a demonstration on pressure in physics. Okay. Um, to make water tanks and other gadgets. I think that knowledge is really cardinal and makes it hard for someone to invent some things they don't understand. Now, away from that demonstration, I'm going to proceed. Okay, I'm going to proceed to something else. Again, on this time, I'm going to talk about pressure in fast and slow moving air. Fast and slow moving air. Pressure in fast and slow moving air. I've got two terms with me. Are we following?
Yeah, Francie, everything is
So, okay, okay. I've got two cans with me. I'm going to demonstrate about pressure in fast and slow moving air. Now, I'm going to place them up about 20 centimeters, and I'm going to blow air in between. I'm going to blow air in between like that. I'll still blow air harder like that. Okay, so we see what's going on. So we're talking about pressure in fast and slow moving air. Now this time I'm going to move closer and I'll still blow air in between. I'll do that. Okay, so I hope you have observed that when I was here, I'm about 20 centimeters, then I blow air in between harder. You see that the cans are being blown away or they are moving. Okay, when I get close, interesting. So this is pressure in fast and slow moving air. When I'm 20 meters away, I'm blowing air which is a bit weaker. When I get closer, my air is becoming stronger. Now, surprisingly, when I'm far, the air that I'm blowing, which is weaker, has high pressure, which is pushing away the cans. But when I get closer, the air I'm blowing is stronger, but has lower pressure. So the concept here is fast moving air, which is closer, has lower pressure, while slow moving air, which I'm blowing, the weaker moving air, which I'm blowing when I'm far, has higher pressure. So the pressure is different. The stronger the air, the lower the pressure. The weaker the air, the higher the pressure. That's why when you see the wind, when you're in the environment, you observe the wind. If the wind is blowing slow, maybe it may blow a paper going far. But when the wind is stronger, it will just be trying to blow the paper, then the paper will be spinning at the same place. Why? Because that strong wind has lower pressure, while the strong moving air has high pressure. So now, for someone to maybe become or do careers in science, such as becoming a pilot, they need to understand this. Into aviation, you need to understand the pressure in fast and slow moving air. It's about the pressure difference in fast and slow moving air. This is real science and should it be taken in a classroom situation when explaining. It will make the science more funny, more engaging, and more interest stimulating to learners. I'll still proceed. I'd prepared much about pressure. Maybe I'll do one more thing about pressure, then I'll proceed. Okay, I'm going to get something else. I've got two gadgets with me, which I'm sure you all know. I've got a mug cup and I've got a balloon. I've got a Maggie cup and a balloon. Now, this demonstration is still in physics and it's about pressure difference. We're going to see the pressure difference. Now, the volume inside the cup, there is space and there is a balloon. So let me do this. Simply put the balloon inside and blow air. So I've blown up the balloon. Now let's see what happens. Okay. Wow, did you see that? So I've actually held the cup using a balloon by just blowing up the balloon. It has held the cup. There we are. Okay? It's not falling. But when the balloon is not inflated, this is what's happening. It can't be held. You see? But when I blow up the balloon inside the cup, we're able to hold the cup using the balloon. Again, like that. Now, I'm going to explain what is happening. When the balloon is not inflated like that, the volume, which is the space inside the cup, is increasing because there's a lot of space. When I blow up the balloon, it's taking up the whole space, which is the volume. When I blow up the balloon, the volume is reducing, forcing the cup to be held by the inflated balloon. When the balloon is not inflated, the volume is increasing, there's also space. When I blow it up, the volume reduces because this volume, which is simply the space, is being taken up by the balloon. So that difference in volume is causing the pressure to increase. So when the volume is like that, the pressure is reduced. When the volume is increased like that, the pressure reduces. While when the volume reduces, the pressure increases. So the pressure difference is forcing the cup to be held by an inflated balloon. That's also an interesting, the children or the learners who understand the fan. Even at tertiary level, this can be a very interesting demonstration to confirm pressure difference. Um, so basically, that's a demonstration, again, that is interesting and worth showing in a classroom. I'm going to demonstrate something else. Now, this time I'm going to another demonstration. I'm going to do something else. Uh, I'm going to talk about chemistry of fire. Now we're going to chemistry. I'm going to do on the chemistry of fire. I'm sure we all know what is required for combustion to take place, what is required for burning to take place. Most of the times, we say we require 3 items for combustion to take place, which we already know. I've got corn flour with me here. This is corn flour in this bottle, and I've got a handheld lighter. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to put my corn flour here first. I'll put the corn flour on my table. So I've put my corn flour on the table. Now I'm going to try and burn it. Hope you can see. Trying to burn my corn flour. I want us to see what is happening. Can you observe anything? Is it burning? Is it burning? Can we see that corn flour burning? It's not burning, not so. Not burning, right?
No, it's not burning.
Yeah. So now I'm going to simply change the position at which I'm going to burn the corn flour. Can move a little bit back. So I've tried to burn it from the table. Now this time I'm going to try and burn it into the atmosphere by simply doing that. Okay. Can we see that?
Yes, that's burning.
Yeah. So I've simply okay. I'll do that way. So this is on the chemistry of fire. I was trying to burn this corn flour from the table here. It couldn't burn. But when I tried to change the position at which I was burning and tried to split the corn flour on it, we saw that it produced a very big flame. Okay? Remember, when burning something, we require 3 things. which are source of fuel. In this case, our fuel is the cornflower which we are burning. Then source of heat from the lighter. Then we have the gas, which is oxygen, which is into the atmosphere. Now, this is demonstration about oxygen concentration. Down here, there is less oxygen, while in the atmosphere, there is oxygen at random movement, which was now trying to this oxygen at random movement is blowing on this burning cornflower. The oxygen at random movement is trying to blow on the cornflower, making a big flame. So there is a lot of oxygen at random movement in the environment, while down here there is less oxygen. So this is on the chemistry of fire. This is evidence that there is a lot of oxygen at random movement. Now, teaching or using such a demonstration would make the lesson more interesting. The children will understand the fun. They'll be enticed to become more curious and learn even more. They'll develop that love for the subject. They'll develop the love for the class. So this is on the chemistry of fire. There are more other demonstration in chemistry, biology, physics, which I can go on and do. Now, because of time, I'm going to do maybe a few more. I'm going to do something in. I'm going to do. I've got items. I'm going to do something in chemistry on acids, bases, and salts. On a topic called acids, bases, and salts. So I've got items with me. I've got an acid with me. This is vinegar. Now, if you've observed, I'm simply using material, simple raw material that is found within our environment. So I'm using modest material so that it becomes easy for a teacher from anywhere to access this material and make a demonstration in a classroom. So I've got an acid with me, which is vinegar. Vinegar is an acetic acid. I've got a base. So I'm going to react a base and an acid. Now, this base is baking soda or sodium hydroxide. You can use sodium hydroxide or you can use baking soda because I know it's easy to access baking soda. Remember, baking soda is made from sodium hydroxide. So I'm going to react a base and an acid, then we'll see what happens. Then I've got a balloon. So I'm going to simply put my base, which is the baking soda or sodium hydroxide, into a balloon. I'll simply cut like that. Okay. So I'm putting my baking soda into the balloon. So I've put my baking soda into the balloon. Okay. Maybe I can put a little bit more so that we see. So remember, this is on a topic called acids and bases. So I've put my base, which is the baking soda, into the balloon. I want to react it with the acid, which is the vinegar. Vinegar is an acetic acid. So we react an acid and a base in chemistry. Whenever you're teaching on acids and bases, you can try and use this method so that you illustrate. Okay. So since there is a base here and there's an acid here, I'm going to roll my base in the balloon onto the bottle like that. Okay. Then I'm going to hold the balloon here tight. And I'll start letting go of the baking soda into the bottle. Then we see like that slowly. Now observe what's happening. Okay. We can see that the balloon is being blown. Not so. The balloon is being inflated. Okay, so this is on acids and bases. We have reacted an acid, which is vinegar, and a base, which is baking soda. Now, instead of just talking in a classroom and like doing it theoretically, it's important that a teacher makes such a demonstration to make the classroom live and make it more funny, more interesting, and make science more practical. Because remember, science is a practical subject, and the success of the subject or the teaching entirely depends on how feasible we make it, how more enticing we make it, to create that critical thinking among learners, because it's difficult to produce engineers in science if at all our science keeps being theoretical and like being practical. So that is a demonstration, and I'll do that. Again, about this lesson, remember carbon dioxide is a byproduct. It can be used in the fire extinguishers, it can be used in different things, and I can maybe try and put up my flame. See how, see, this is also a sign that there's carbon dioxide in this balloon because it had put out a burning flame. This extinguishing fire like that. Again, can you observe that? So the carbon dioxide that we have produced is actually in extinguishing fire. I'm simply introducing the flame. So isn't that interesting? This is how best we can make science. We can put uh, science to correct use and make it more practical. So these are real application of science, because at this stage it means a learner can even use the science for earning income and everything. So I'm going to do my last demonstration. I was going to do other fire things and everything, but because of the environment, I can't put fire on my hand. Remember, this is 2 a.m. in Zambia. It's Friday, it's 2 a.m. So I can't do the fire issues. But I'm going to do a demonstration. Maybe if time is allowing, Arturo, can I do two or one more demonstration?
Yes, yes, you can do it. You're free to do it.
Okay, can I do two more or
Yeah,
one?
you can do how many you want.
Okay, maybe let me try and do something. I just hold on 1 minute. So they don't move. Sorry, the camera is moving.
So you're talking about some topics like pressure, high pressure, low pressure, combustion, chemical reactions, pH. So we're talking about a lot of topics with normal, common resources that we have in the house, right?
Yes.
So this is like a big opportunity for teachers to try to implement this kind of resources in their classrooms in a very low cost.
Yes, yes, and also remember, as we have observed, I'm using material that is easy to access, and like laboratory chemicals, the same concepts that we see in laboratory concepts, but being put on a low cost.
Ya. So, estamos ahorita hablando acerca de muchos temas, como es la presión de alta y baja presión. Hablamos acerca de reacciones químicas, de la química del fuego. Estábamos hablando del pH, lo que es el ácido y la base, y todo usando pues materiales simples, materiales comunes que tenemos en la casa para poder enseñar la ciencia, ¿no? Y hacerla muy visual y demostrativa, como lo está haciendo Francia ahorita aquí en la demostración. Y como él comenta, no puede usar ahorita mucho fuego porque allá en África pues son las 2 de la mañana. Entonces también agradecemos mucho el esfuerzo que está compartiendo de esta ciencia desde ya, ¿no? Tan temprano. Y ahorita nos va a hacer otras 2 demostraciones más y con su explicación científica, ¿no? Entonces igual vayan dejando todas sus preguntas que tengan aquí en el chat para ahorita hacérselas saber a Francis también. Por acá igual hay muchos saludos, agradecimientos, que muy genial nos están diciendo. Entonces, muchas gracias por andar acá. Y sí, cabe destacar que pues el reconocimiento también para Francis, que está desde allá a las 2 de la mañana haciendo la transmisión. Y pues igual al final vamos a dejar unos links para sus páginas para que puedan ir a seguir a Franci también en sus redes sociales. Ahorita está preparando para hacer otras 2 demostraciones más de ciencia también que nos trae por ahí.
Okay, now we can go. So
¿Qué?
I'm going to do a demonstration. This is about heat capacity. Heat capacity. If you've observed in a car, we have got a radiator. So I want us to observe what happens and why we have gadgets like radiators. I want us to see how best we can make the students understand the function and how heat capacity occurs. So I'm going to demonstrate this using 2 balloons. So I've put my burning candle here. I've got 2 balloons. In the 2 balloons, the first one, I'm going to put water like that. So I'm simply putting water into a balloon this way, and I'll simply do that. I'm squeezing the water into the balloon. So I'm going to put water in here. So I'm going to blow. So this one is containing water and I'm here. Remember, this is about heat capacity. So there's water in here. I'll put this balloon here. And in this one, I'm only going to put air. There's no water. And I'm going to tie it also. So I've got 2 balloons. The gray one is containing air only, while the black one is containing air and water. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to introduce this balloon, which contains only air, to the candle. Look at this. Wow. So that balloon popped up. It only contained air. This one contains air and water. So I'm going to light up my candle again. And I want us to observe. Okay? Can you see that? So this one is containing air and water. That one contained only air. This one that contained air and water there. It's not burning. Again. Again, I'll do that. Did you see that? This is how interesting science can be. So in the first place, I put the balloon there that contained air, while in the end I put a balloon that contained air and water. So the first one that contained air, the rubber of the balloon could not be protected. There was no, the heat capacity could not be sustained. So it had to pop up. On the second one, it contained air and water. The water that was there was cooling the rubber of the balloon such that it could not pop up or it could not be burnt. That's how it survived. So this is a demonstration on heat capacity. This is why we have radiators, coolants in cars to increase the heat capacity or to absorb the heat. So the water was absorbing the heat. So I'm going to show the last demonstration, then I talk about something else. Now, so let me just move this thing. So the camera can remain in the same position. Now I've got a nice gadget here. I'm going to demonstrate something in physics. Are you able to see this?
Yes, that's a
This
board with a lot of nails, right?
Yes, here there's a board and there are nails there. These are very sharp nails here. I'm going to make a demonstration uh, in physics on pressure. So the formula for pressure is well known. So there are nails here, right? I'm going to put my nails here on this couch, and then I am going to sit on the nails. I'm sitting on the nails. Okay? This is called a chair of nails. It's more like a chair. I sit on it and I'm sitting there. Okay? This is physics. No magic, but simply science to make the learners more interested and stimulate their interest in science. This is on pressure, and I'm going to explain about this. It's simply explaining the formula for pressure. It's called a chair of nails. They are very sharp, long nails, real nails, but I'm sitting on them for one reason. Now I'm going to move up and I'm going to explain. Okay, now what is happening here? The formula for pressure is force over area. The formula for pressure is force over area. P equal to force over area. Now, where is my force? I was the force. I was exerting the force on my gadget here. These nails are many. Because there are many, the area was big. If I put one nail or two nails, I'll be hit. Now, because the surface has increased, my force was being distributed on these sharp nails. This is why I was able to survive without being hit. I can't sit on one nail, but I can sit on many nails. Now, to understand concepts like engineering, whenever you're constructing buildings and everything, you need to understand knowledge like the force and area issue. So this is the chair of nails. We can have this in a classroom whenever I'm teaching physics to make it uh, more interesting. So that's about force and area. Uh, Now I can give Arturo 30 seconds just to shed more light. Then I can come in to explain. Arturo, 30 seconds, maybe just shed light on what I was doing.
Okay, if you're gonna do another science demonstration, you're free to do it, or we can start answering questions, however you want.
Uh, I'll just have another item to talk about. Before we start answering questions, can we maybe can I answer questions? Then I go to there's something again I want to introduce, but not a demonstration this time, just an item.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, here the persons, the people on the broadcast are happy and thanking you for this opportunity, for your time to come and talk about the challenges that you have overcome over there to take science to other people, all the kids over there. And we have like two questions here. The first one is why you find interesting of sharing science with everyone.
Uh, why am I finding uh, why am I finding it interesting to share science with everyone? Because everything that we see around us depends on science. Every invention and innovation depends on science entirely. Science can be used in classrooms, in communities to build development entirely depends on science. So I'm finding it interesting because it's beneficial to do science. It's what develops the society. So it's interesting how I do science, and also science is investigative. It answers all the questions. Everything that you see around us is about science. So I find it interesting for that reason. We are seeing the light right now. We need to understand all those things. So science is investigative. It answers all the questions in the environment. This is what I find it interesting.
Dice que se le hace muy interesante que la ciencia puede explicar todo nuestro entorno, los fenómenos que están pasando a nuestro alrededor, desde por qué pasa la luz hasta por qué pasan cosas en nuestro día a día. Entonces dice que encuentra muy interesante eso. Okay, thank you, Francis. So let's answer the next one. Here they're talking about uh, which has been the most science-fying experience that you have being a science communicator.
Well, the most
Science fine
Interesting.
experience. Yeah.
So, okay, the most science experience, the most interesting science experience.
Yeah. Of you giving science to everyone.
Okay. The most interesting experience is when I discovered an organic fertilizer. I've invented an organic fertilizer. So when I invented a successive organic fertilizer, was the most interesting science experience because I invented that organic fertilizer from the scratch and using material that is modest. I like doing science with simple material that is really making it accessible to everyone. So it was a moment when I showed that anyone can do science or anyone can utilize science regardless of where they are. So when I discovered an organic fertilizer was my most interesting experience.
Ok, entonces dentro de su experiencia que más le ha agradado es el poder descubrir una extractor de materia orgánica que construyó desde cero con los recursos que tenía ahí como basura y pues eso le ha dado mucha satisfacción. And how about your experience teaching science to kids in schools? How's it
Okay,
been?
the experience of teaching science to kids in schools has been amazing, especially in underdeveloped communities, because learners just learn science theoretically, just talks, rhetorics. They think it's not real. So when I go to schools, I go there to qualify what teachers teach in classrooms. For instance, they may have learned that oxygen supports burning, but they've never seen it. So when I go there, just go to prove that. When I also go there, maybe the children may have learned that the formula for pressure is force over area. But when I go there, I go with a chair of nails. I try to do that. It looks like magic, but when I use that formula, it becomes interesting to them, more and more interesting. Maybe on acids and bases, they may have learned that when you react an acid and base, carbon dioxide is produced, but they've never believed it. So when I go there, I go to make them believe and see it. So I do something that is unbelievable, but when I explain the science behind it, they connect to what they learn in a classroom. I go there now simply just to relate exactly what they learn in a classroom, but in a more practical, funny, and interesting way. And it makes the environment just mad, makes the children go out, uh, makes science to look more real and important.
Claro, nos dice que él ahora sí que le gusta mucho esta parte de llevar la ciencia a las escuelas, porque en las escuelas regularmente es como muy teórico todo lo que ven, pero ahora ya poder demostrar lo que ellos puedan vivir, esta experiencia de ver qué es la presión, los ácidos, los cambios, las reacciones, la combustión, pues eso también es como que les abre el panorama hacia lo que es real, lo que pasa en el mundo y cómo se aplica la ciencia en su vida diaria. Entonces eso es básicamente lo que nos está compartiendo aquí Franci. And here, Rita is telling about you, that you're a super guest, that she's pleased that you're here sharing science with everyone and your experience. So a lot of people are thanking you for your time. And I have two questions. First of all, yeah, your manual. Tell us about your book, your manual.
Okay. So I go to the book.
Yes, your book.
Now, this is not just a book as you see it, it's a very interesting gadget. In many schools, many countries, and many regions, today teachers are failing to set up laboratory equipment because they do not have the capacity, they do not have resources. Now, for this book, in this book, there are instructions on how you can improvise laboratory equipment. You can make your own laboratory equipment just using the modest materials such as bottles, straws. You can make laboratory equipment without buying anything. You just recycle the containers, straws, then you make laboratory equipment out of this book. Okay? Now, it has step by step instructions. This is how I wrote this book. So, using this book, you can make a report tank in physics to show the waves without buying anything. Using this book, you can make an hyposometer without buying anything. You just pick straws, bottles, cardboard. You can make a model of the human body as a structure to demonstrate science. You can make a crystalline structure. You can make a centrifuge for separating blood without buying anything. That's simply recycling. You can make a water distiller for distillation without buying anything. You can make an accumulator without buying anything. You can make a light big condenser without buying anything. You can also make a microscope without buying anything by just recycling. So this book is able to help you make those laboratory equipments which they sell by just improvising recycling material. So that is why I wrote this book. It's because I observed that here in Zambia and other countries, I'm sure even in Mexico, there are some rural schools, underrepresented communities that cannot afford to buy laboratory equipment. So this is my book, and I should say the book is on sale. You can buy it through Aturo. I'll be happy to give it. Uh, Anyone who wants to buy get it, they can get it through Aturo at only 20 US dollars. So this is a book actually that I wrote. So this book as it's simply an instruction handbook that can enable a teacher and these learners to make laboratory equipment. For further instructions, I also have videos on how to make each and every item here, which I did with the learners, and I have the videos on my YouTube channel, and I'll be able to share also so that a teacher who is interested in having fun whenever they are teaching or they just create time to start making the laboratory equipment. You want to make a microscope today on our own, they want to make a demonstrator, they want to make this, so that we show that how practical the science is. So this is about the book. It helps rural schools that cannot afford to buy laboratory equipment. They can actually set up their own laboratory equipment, maybe worth 500, maybe a laboratory worth $20,000. They can set it up without buying anything or spending anything. That's how interesting my book is. So I have this book in PDF, which I'm going to provide. You can get it through a tool. That's about the book.
Ok, pues igual voy a traducir todo lo que dijo. Thank you, Francis. Y bueno, él escribió un libro justamente para llevar la ciencia a todas estas zonas rurales. Este libro lo tiene en venta, cuesta $20 y pues se pueden dar cuenta que él puede hacer ciencia con lo que tiene ahí de experimentos de química, de física, cómo crear una centrífuga, desde recursos que conocemos como basura. Él le puede dar otro uso para poder explicar esta área de la ciencia, cómo crear un microscopio desde cero con cosas que tenemos en nuestra casa. Y pues él ha distribuido este libro en varias escuelas alrededor de África y pues la idea es que los maestros que tienen bajos recursos puedan montar laboratorios en sus escuelas para poder enseñar ciencia de una forma divertida, de una forma fácil y siempre a un bajo costo. Entonces él va a tener en venta estos libros, él me va a hacer facilitar el link para poder comprarlo y quien guste tenerlo, pues va a costar igual $20, ¿no? Y lo que él comentaba también que pues él actualmente se dedica a esto y pues lo hace ahora sí que de freelance, ¿no? O sea, lo hace por gusto propio y pues es como él también se financia mucho de su proyecto. Así que yo creo que es una buena oportunidad también para poder apoyarlo y pues apoyar la ciencia, ¿no? So I just was talking about the book and how they can get it through me. And some person here is Isela is talking about how we can manage to contact you so they can invite you to teach science to kids here in Mexico too, in Chiapas actually.
Okay. Wow. So my Facebook page is Francis Mulenga. That's why I post all the content. I've got a YouTube channel which is called Smart Kids Show. So you can contact me by email through Aturo or even through me. You can reach out. Aturo, I think, can provide my email.
Yeah, don't worry. We can set up a link to your YouTube channel and to your email so we can tell them to them, ¿no? Igual podemos poner los links de su correo y de su canal de YouTube para que lo sigan y ahí ustedes pueden contactarlo. Igual si no, manden un mensajito y yo ya puedo hacer el vínculo para que se puedan comunicar con él y que pueda hacer estas demostraciones en sus escuelas así vía internet.
Then,
No,
then also, I can also introduce the other thing that I do. I'm also into innovations. I mentor learners. I design science projects and I mentor learners. I also organize science exhibitions like science shows where children come now to put in practice what I demonstrate. They make their own science projects and on climate change. I organize venues where we have that. I'm also running this show which is called Smart Kids Show. Now, on this show, I invite children with innovations in science projects. Then we do this. Then I also collaborate with other countries. For you that are willing to collaborate with me, I can organize children here. You organize learners in Mexico. then we do that. I've founded what is called Zambia Science Makes Course division for projects for Mexican and Zambian learners. I organize learners here. I mentor them in making projects. Then also in Mexico, there is Dr. Lorena Rubio, who also organizes learners. Then we collaborate through video. Now, for those that are interested in working with me, like he asked, I think we can collaborate. You can organize learners there. I can come over there to run with some science workshops for teachers. I also run workshops for teachers here. For those that are willing, we can easily organize. If I'm to do it from Mexico, not a problem. I'm willing to do that. Touring is still also a good thing, and you come and share the knowledge. Then I'll give first Arturo a chance to explain what I've said. Then I'll also talk about my last part. I've got another thing to talk about. But for now, I'm introducing my show called Science Smart Kids Show for Science Project, and also mentioning that I also run workshops for teachers, sharing their knowledge. I've got over 1,000 science demonstrations. What I've just done here is the introduction. There are more and more into physics, chemistry, and biology demonstration, but due to time, we cannot go on and on. I only wanted to introduce what I do. There is more and there are more demonstration. Thank you.
Ok, de lo que nos comenta Franci, bless you. De lo que nos comenta Franci ahorita es de que él sí hace demostraciones, hace colaboraciones y también hace talleres para los niños y también para escuelas, que inclusive hasta puede involucrar talleres específicos para maestros para que puedan enseñar la ciencia de esta manera, ¿no? Con materiales de reuso, y que podemos establecer la colaboración, ya sea contactándome a mí directamente o a sus redes, para que puedan hacerlo, ¿no? Él dice que tiene ahorita un proyecto que es Zambia y México, este vínculo para poder traer la ciencia para todos. Entonces, ahí vamos a dejar justamente después de este video, vamos a compartir los links, vamos a compartir su correo para que igual lo contacten o igual directamente a través de la red Sinapsis podemos hacer el vínculo para que se pueda lograr estas colaboraciones y pues también seguirlo apoyando para que siga haciendo ciencia. Okay, Francis. So a lot of people are telling you the same. Thank you for your explanations. Thank you for your time, your demonstrations. And let me just read this. This kind of long. Um, okay. So, in your point of view, which is the biggest challenge of teaching science and technology to persons over there in your country?
The biggest challenge is first the teacher creativity. The teacher creativity is the biggest challenge. The teacher creativity and also connecting science to real life things. Most teachers have got an attitude, not only in Zambia, I would say globally. Teachers have got an attitude that you can only teach science when there is money. But no, the biggest asset you need when teaching science is creativity and innovation. Why am I saying innovations? I'm just from demonstrating science on different topics, and I think these are things that we can use. Lack of innovativeness is the biggest challenge, and the attitude. Most teachers go to teach science verbally, just like theoretically, instead of organizing practicals. But science is learned when you do it. You have just to be hands-on. Most teachers want to be lazy, they don't want to be innovative. That's the biggest challenge. So once teachers believe if we share these activities through workshops, then the challenge will end. The lack of innovativeness among teachers, those innovations make the learners become more interested. So it's lack of innovation, otherwise that's the biggest challenge.
Ok, entonces dice que de los retos que él ha visto allá en África es principalmente con los maestros que son de mente muy cerrada, que son muy flojos y que no quieren innovar y usar la creatividad para poder enseñar las ciencias y nada más, no solamente dejarlo en la parte teórica, sino también llevarlo a la parte experimental, que no están como en esta oportunidad de cambio, entonces están muy renuentes a eso, pero dice que principalmente esos son dos factores que él ha encontrado, ¿no? La falta de creatividad y la falta de innovación para poder enseñar las ciencias, principalmente allá en su país, como lo está mencionando ahorita. And we see a lot of thank yous here in the chat and for your time, for your collaboration. And I don't know if we have more questions. Just leave it here in the chat so we can read it to Francie. And no, I think there are no more questions. So, Francie, we're gonna leave all your links here in the video so we can uh, give you more acknowledgement to the people of the things that you do. And also, I took the liberty of showing some of your pictures from your science shows. Let me put it here so you can see them too.
Screenshotting, man.
There you go. So, producción, ¿me ayudas ahí, por favor? De eso. So here we are seeing some pictures of Francie teaching science to a lot of kids. How many kids do you have in one session, Francie, of science?
Okay, now that's a challenge. I have a minimum of 700 kids, so they go up to 1,000, 2,000 kids in one show because Zambian schools are overpopulated. We have about 100, 120, sometimes 150 kids in one classroom. So when I go to a school, the whole school assembles. So I have over 5,000 in one session.
Wow, 150, 170 alumnos por sesión, porque dice que las escuelas están sobresaturadas de alumnos. Entonces creo que pues son muy buenos espacios también para poder llevar la ciencia, motivar a más jóvenes hacia estas áreas y pues como él lo dijo, ¿no? Haciéndolo de una forma pues accesible para todos, ¿no? Y fíjense, o sea, tiene ahora sí que de todas las edades llevando la ciencia y pues la verdad es que ahora sí con los recursos que tienen, vean, o sea, que no es una limitante para la ciencia, ¿no? Llevar esto. Y vean los recursos que él lleva, ¿no? Una maleta que tiene botellas, tiene popotes, como él dice, tiene sogas y demás, y con eso puede hacer las demostraciones de ciencia. Y pues lleva también sus libros, ¿no? Entonces, fíjense qué padre actividad de poder llevar la ciencia para todos cuando tienes esa creatividad e esa innovación, ¿no? Porque era hacerlo también e implementarlo. So, no sé si hay más preguntas acá en el chat. So, Francie, personally, I really admire your work. I really admire all the things you are doing for science as a freelancer because you don't get paid to do this. That is, you're willing to teach science and take science to everyone. But we can also give donations to you to help you to continue this project and make it bigger. So tell us, how can we donate to you?
Well, yeah, I think everything will come through Arturo. Like right now, I've got science shows coming up, science cycles that I need to run, that I need to deliver in some schools. I think this time I've got 17 requests for schools that want me to go and demonstrate science to them. I think three of them are for children that are deaf. So everything can come through Arturo. I think Arturo knows how we get that. So I can
Okay.
get through Arturo.
Ok, igual vamos a poner un link y vamos a poner una cuenta ahí para quienes gusten donar, igual lo pueden hacer a través de ese número y yo ya le estaré haciendo llegar el dinero a Francia hasta África por una transferencia digital. Entonces, igual, yo creo que ya más tarde dejamos ahí el post para quien quiera apoyar con algún donativo o que quiera adquirir uno de estos libros de Franci, lo puede hacer a través de nosotros en la red Sinapsis para poder facilitárselos. And well, Francie, we are getting to the finish of this transmission, to this broadcast. And again, thank you for your time because we know it's 2 a.m. over there in Africa, and you took your time, you took your experience to share with us all your knowledge. And we thank you for that. We are grateful that you're here teaching and taking science to everyone. So a big hug from Mexico to Africa, and thank you again. And we can keep collaborating in the near future.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate hoping for more collaboration going forward. Thank you to everyone that took their time to do this with me or be part of this great moment. I hope this is just the beginning. We can do more interesting other things in future. Thank you.
Yeah, we are going to do a lot of things, Francie. We're going to do a lot of things. We love supporting science communicators. We love supporting science teachers. So you're welcome anytime to do more collaborations. And I think these people are willing to keep on seeing you teach science.
Okay, thank you.
So, thank you, Francie. Y muchas gracias a todos que están aquí en la transmisión. Más tarde posteamos toda esa información para que puedan apoyar a Francis y que lo sigan en todas sus redes para que continúe llevando la ciencia para todos. Así que un abrazo, muchas gracias por estar en la transmisión. Nos vemos en el próximo Haz Sinapsis. And thank you, Francis. Thank you, Francis. We'll see you again.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.